It was a bitterly cold night back in 1980. The roads in Minnesota were completely buried under a thick blanket of white snow. 19-year-old Jean Hilliard was driving home in her old car when things suddenly went wrong. Her car lost control and skidded off the road, crashing into a deep ditch. It was the middle of nowhere. The air was silent, and the temperature had plummeted to a bone-chilling 30 degrees below zero. Jean knew that if she just sat in that car, she would freeze to death before morning. So, she stepped out into the freezing dark to find help. She remembered that a friend lived just down the road, but that walk turned out to be a nightmare. As she struggled through the deep, heavy snow, her legs slowly started to go numb. The wind was so cold it felt like it was biting her skin, and the air was so thin it was hard to even catch her breath. She was so incredibly close, only 15 feet from her friend's front gate, when her body finally gave out. She collapsed right there in the snow, unable to move another inch. All night long, the snow kept falling, slowly burying her under a frozen layer of ice. The next morning, her friend Wally Nelson opened his front door and saw something he would never forget. Jean was lying there in the snow, frozen solid like a block of ice. Her eyes were wide open, but they were totally still and staring at nothing. Wally was sure she was dead. When he tried to pick her up and put her in his car, her body was as stiff as a board. He couldn't bend her arms or her legs at all. He rushed her to the local hospital as fast as he could, hoping for a miracle, but expecting the worst. When they arrived, the doctors were completely at a loss. Jean's skin was so frozen and hard that the nurses couldn't even get a needle in for an IV. The needles just kept bending against her skin. They couldn't even get a temperature reading because the thermometers wouldn't work on her. To the doctors, she felt like a piece of frozen meat taken straight out of a freezer. There was no detectable heartbeat and no sign of breathing. Everyone in the room was certain she was gone. The doctors even started talking about how, if she somehow survived, they would definitely have to amputate her arms and legs because of the severe frostbite. But then, the impossible happened. The doctors decided to use electric heating pads to very slowly warm her body back up. After a few hours of waiting, her body finally started to soften and become flexible again. Around noon, Jean suddenly opened her eyes and weakly asked for a drink of water. It was a moment of pure shock for everyone in the room. Within just a few days, she was sitting up in bed and talking like nothing had happened. The most amazing part of the whole story? She didn't need a single amputation. She didn't even lose a single finger to the cold. To this day, scientists and doctors still don't have a real answer for how Jean survived. How a human body can freeze almost entirely solid and then just thaw out and work perfectly again remains one of medicine's greatest mysteries. It's as if nature has its own secret set of rules that our science hasn't figured out yet. Jean's incredible story is a powerful reminder that sometimes, even when it seems like there is no hope left, miracles can actually happen.